So today's playfulness will be basically exploring things that are typically considered playful. Games, board games, puzzles, karaoke, and let's stick with the in-home kind of stuff, okay? I mean, karaoke, I guess that's in-home. I mean, we use this thing on YouTube. We just look them up on YouTube. There's plenty of karaoke things on YouTube that you can just like put up on your TV screen and go for it. Stick with those, because it can get huge. I mean, I'm not talking like go bungee jumping, skydiving, try the air tunnels or wind tunnels that blow you around or whatever. I mean, those are fun and they are considered playful and they are kind of within that typical repertoire of what we think of as playful. But let's try the easy ones that are at home, easy to have at home, quick access kind of thing. So like I said, that kind of falls into like, I don't know, maybe like tossing a kickball around or football around or kicking a kickball around or playing board games or doing puzzles or karaoke. I'm trying to think of the other things that we do at my house. All kinds of stuff actually, but play some of those games, okay? Play one at least. I mean, that's your baseline. Play more if you're willing. Pick one, especially if you're only going to pick one, that you don't usually play or haven't ever done or usually refrain from. Like, let's say you've got puzzles at your house, but you never put together puzzles and you've probably never done one. Or, some member of your family plays with those, but you don't. You usually don't join in when it comes to whatever, board games or something. And play those. It's just to kind of exercise maybe some new elements of playfulness that you've found in doing these exercises within a more typical standard playfulness activity, and to see if there's any difference there. Do you feel any more playful? Do you feel any less attached to the competitiveness or achievement or, less drudgery? Do you feel a little more alive? Are you able to enjoy it more? Maybe not, though. So that's also part of the questioning. And why? Because these are things that help us with playfulness. To know ourselves when it comes to playfulness is helpful because this is going to give you better access to playfulness. So let's say you're doing the puzzle and you don't find it very playful at all. And maybe that's because you already solve a lot of problems in your daily life. I like puzzles, but there are times when I'm like, I usually love puzzles, but I am so not in the mood. And I know why. I know that it's about balance for me because, feeling alive is really actually about feeling balance, getting access to the energy of life or the wellspring that I've been talking about. But like kind of riding the wave, being balanced on that wave. So when those moments happen that I'm just like so not in the mood for puzzles, it makes really good sense to me that it's because I have been doing too much problem solving in a very productive, heavy responsibility on my back kind of way. And so problem solving on a puzzle is just too much. It like tips the scales. And these are helpful things to notice, And so I don't know, if you play a board game, do you not like it? Is it not playful? Or video games? That was one I forgot. Those are at home and accessible and like definitely hugely accepted as a means of play. Does it feel less playful to you now? Because before it was kind of like maybe a zone out and it was like relaxing and an extreme from like hyper productivity to zone out. So it felt good and relieving and more balancing, but maybe it doesn't feel that playful. It just feels kind of like relaxing. It doesn't feel like, laughing and putting your energy forward and really, there's no meaningfulness to it or something, or there's no, play or deep sense of aliveness. And notice that, like, why might that be? Is it because you're too competitive with it? Is it because there is a goal? Is it because it is just like totally passive and you might want to try something more active to get that real sense of play? or board games. Like, I don't really like board games as much as, well, certainly my daughter does, and especially when we come up against differences with the people that we love, how they play versus how we play. It's again helpful to know, like, all right, well, what's going on here? Can I modify it? Can I shift it? I don't really like board games so much because they seem a little bit like goal and achievement driven, and that kills a lot of the play for me. I don't like it. I feel like my life is goal and achievement and productivity based enough. So like keeping score or counting this or tallying that, or like we're trying to do this, there's a strategy and we're trying, sometimes that can be, again, too much of what I already do in daily life, so it doesn't bring out playfulness in me. I'm willing to do it, but it doesn't bring out giggly, feeling alive playfulness in me. And then for other people it does. I met a woman who loves board games, and I am not diminishing her at all in saying this, but I could see why, because it doesn't seem like she has very much of that strategizing in her life, So, and it's like, okay, then I could see you would need it, man. It would bring out that deep playfulness. Because balance is a huge part of playfulness too. And knowing yourself, they say know yourself in all kinds of areas of life. Certainly the sort of personal development area, but in playfulness too. So that you can compromise. Let's say that, my daughter loves board games. I can tell her, like, let's buy a board game, which we did, that was a totally non-competitive, like, teamwork. Like, we all had to work together to get there. And it was a little bit more freestyle. It wasn't a lot of, like, keeping tallies and scores, and if you get this card, it means this thing. It was way more open than that, and I like it. I like it so much better. Just because, and then she's happy too, because we both get to play board games. So it gives you information, lots of information, knowing your own playfulness, and minute to minute, knowing your own balance and how that shifts day to day. So that is your challenge. Try some standard games with a new mindset.